Hey, muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. Bueno, mi gente, as always beforehand, I want to start by thanking everybody for your guys' words, prayers, and everything you guys express and send my way. From the Cora se los agradezco. Also, before I get into the story at hand, I got a comment on the last video I put out for you guys, and I'm not gonna put his name out there just out of respect, but he had a lot of sense in what he was telling me. When I addressed, the camarada from 18, I didn't address everything that should have been done from every angle. That included, you know, Davato from 18. He had a lot of wrong in it too, because there's certain rules and guidelines that need to be followed, which weren't to the dot for whatever and every reason. And for that, like I said, he was right, and I sincerely, I apologize. I can't speak about one bad angle and leave another one out to benefit a point. It has to be clear from every angle. So I'm going to try to do so from here on out in every aspect. But anyways, for this story, I want to touch on a homie, that at one time I had the pleasure to meet with that was from the area that I'm from, which is the Bay Area. Just he was a little knucklehead, Paya from 19 and Mission. I remember when we were in Quilmas, there was 19 was pretty deep. There was a lot of homies there, but this camarada really stand out for the fact that he had that brother stilo to him, right? And well, it was talked about amongst a lot of homies that with that type of torica on him, it was gonna be hard because he had a big charge, so he was gonna head up and do some time. And with that much time, more than likely you're gonna hit a 180 or at least a 270, right? And even though you might have that type of torica in your vocabulary, it's still not spoken on them level fours, at least from the raza on our side, right? Cause it's just a respect thing. The brothers they tend to address things like this because they feel disrespected, so things get taken care of like ASAP to avoid a conflict. So I'm sure that's how people were speaking about me. Cause at one point, I hit Quentin. I was dumb in the sense that every time they cracked that cell, I thought it was a bail for me to get out the cell and take care of something or do something without being requested to do so. I was just dumb like that. I wanted to be in people's bocas when it came to things like this. So, Payaso, he had that stilo, and I'm sorry to say, that I personally engaged in conversations where it wasn't going to be permitted. He had to change his stilo, and we had that friendship to the point where we could actually speak about this, to him. But it was just a rebel, when it came first time in prison, and I know how that felt, which is I know best. I had, you could say, the honor of having my first celly that left no option for me but to sit down and take lecha and to change my ways. But again, Not every homie gets that opportunity to get school right for a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of young camaradas that get in, and there is those camaradas that they tend to amuse themselves giving the wrong flecha to young homies to see how far they go with it. It's at the end of the day, you're in la pinta, right? So again, I said it before and I'll say it again. And it's sad to say, you just can't trust nobody. You're in a dog eat dog world, and you have to take what you think is the right schooling. But getting back to Payaso, we were there for a little bit, and again, I was. I'm not gonna say I was a torpedo, because at this time I was under nobody. I was just me myself being dumb, right? Things used to be raced up to do, and I was the one raising my hand to take care of them. Into that one point where I came in the cell, and R told me, hey, look, read this and sit down. And of course, me being a dumb butt, my first reaction was like, well, what's up, and flexed up, because at this time I thought I was in the cell with a camarada from Riverside. Till I actually read the papiro, and I had no option but to sit down and listen. And little by little, I'm not gonna say it happened like bam, like I could turn 180 from one moment to the next, because it didn't happen like that. But getting back to Payaso, I disculpen. When time came for us to leave reception, the camarada went down to Salinas Valley, to the level 4. And as you guys know my story, I went out to Tracy. That was the first pinta I hit after Quilmas. And for me to sit here and honestly tell you how everything went down, I would be lying to you. But in Salinas, somehow, some way, he got plugged to the Pili Chico from Hazard, excuse me, and he became Chico Soldado to every sense of the word, right? And of course, he had to change his estilo, for the reason that he was representing somebody on the yardas. So that's a big no-no. And I do understand if camaradas, ex camaradas, come on here and say that it's not looked down on, but I sat back there in the shoe a long time, and believe me, you know, it's looked down on, especially when you're representing a Pili that's more Raza raised, right? For example, from East LA, or just in that sense, like Chico was. So, needless to say, Diablito, he changed his ways. As time went by, he started doing what he had to do as a soldado. You know, as a soldado, he climbed up from a sureño to a camarada. So he had to move. I'm not gonna say with class, but he had to move with respect when it came to saying things that weren't outraged. So, anyways, as time went by, there was a vato. He was from Mateo, San Mateo. He was an ex sureño, and well, at this time he was playing the part as a sureño. So when push came to shove, if it came down from Chico specifically, that homeboy had an R on the streets, and he had to remove him. Now, keep in mind, when you hit prison, the only sentence you worry about is when you have that L after the number. So Paya didn't have that L. He had some time on him, but he had a release date. One of the main reasons why I think I went buck wild inside and I wanted my name to be ringing where it should be ringing is because I had that L. So, homeboy, he wasn't a, he was a writer. So when that appeal came down, that he had to move, en silencio and take care of it because of the R. Again, this is even an R that happened in the area, right? Far away from East LA, but somehow, some way, it hit Chico's lap. So the homie took care of what he needed to be taken care of. He went up to shoot. We were in Corcoran shoot. We happened to run across each other. Well, not across each other, but we were aware that we were both there, just different blocks on A yard. While we're there, again, Paya actually took care of another camarada that had that big nasty shards on their jacket, right? And he was from Los Primos, from East LA, I believe. And in the group yard at this time, there were still group yards there. He took care of business, and it's a lot different than you handling business on the yard because there's camera, there's a tower, so everything will be recorded. So he ended up taking this fool's wing, and doing so, he went back to court, and they ended up breaking him off. The time he was serving plus 2-5 with an L. So he was done. At this time, there was no quebrada for vatos with an L to get out. It was real rare you hear about it. So, the camarada, you could say, he made prison his life, which I know for a fact he didn't mind it. He was, like he stated, in it to win it, regardless. La calles, it's always on pause when you're inside. And it's shameful and sad to say, but it's true. I remember when I was in there doing whatever I was doing inside, I used to talk to my jefita, and I know I used to break her heart, cause she used to tell me like, your son and this and that, and don't you ever really miss being out here? And I used to tell her, in my dumb mind, it was what I had to feel and believe, which was I don't have time to sit down and really get a feeling for that. All that is gone out my mind and heart. I need to concentrate on an everyday thing in here. At the time, it made sense for me. But can you guys tell me it does make sense? As human beings, we're not built for that. But, we corner ourselves to endure so many things. And that includes a life of misery. And I'm not speaking about, you know, mob members in any sense. I'm speaking in raza in general. It's just, it ain't smart. And I do understand that when you're in there, that's what we're built for, right? I always used to feel uncomfortable on the calles, and I used to always pump my chest out whenever we hit a joint, saying, "This is more like me. This is what I am." when in reality that's BS. You know, like I always say, the mind plays games all around with us, and those are facts. That's why it's always really emphasis on inside, that you gotta sharpen your mind. A man's only as strong as his mind, and it's true. But getting back to Payaso, he ended up, catching another shoe turn, and then he ended up hitting Pelican Bay. At this time had gotten by. He caught that inside, and he was there in Corcoran, and within time, he ended up getting validated, and instead of sending him to B yard, they ended up sending him to the Bay. At this time, I had just gotten there, or I got there right after him. It was one of them to the Bay, and we shared him a Billy's, and he was basically in shock, right? As I was, to keep it a buck, with you guys. When I found out that Chico was one of those Billies that had those nasty charges. He had kidnapped, rape, and murder, but it was being looked aside for whatever reason. Their excuse was different times, different politics. But to me, it was so BS. It was just something showed in front. Because I remember they had when Smokey from B&E started pushing for no member to have those charges on them, and if they did, to be booted out. Man, you could tell they were in the corner quiet. All of them. All of them were funny charges, because he's not the only one. He's just one out of many that you could actually go up and look up. So, but anyways, he expressed this to me that, he caught life behind him ordering him to take care of an individual like himself. And it don't matter what times, what era, whatever you want to put it, man. You mess with children and women in that sense of things, you're basura. Period. I always come on here and always say, I'm not on here to push for people to change their life by telling, by dropping out. Nothing in that sense. Again, there's certain scenarios where sometimes it looks as so, or it happens as so, due to different scenarios. But when it comes to you messing with children and women, there's no buts or ifs, man. You're basura. And, but again, you gotta really, if you're known of the known, Chico was a plug when it came to Requesón, right? He had all different types of avenues, pipelines up there that 24/7 you could hit him up and he had it. It's just facts. When it came to that type of thing, he always had it. He had that feria, he had that avenues to it. Again, Hazard has a lot of pull, when it comes to that neighborhood. At this time, I'm speaking now, not only for the Phillies in the state, but Champ being one of the main ones in the feds. So they had that who to minimize something as big as this. So, last time I told this story, I didn't really get down to it. The homie was hurt, but, he thrown his life away to be there. But what really got me more into, like, when they got kicked out the shoe, I guess they ended up in New Folsom in the same yard. And then he got minimized. Because to a sense, he surrounded himself with camaradas from his area. So, here's the story to touch on the message that I put out, that there's no sense in doing things for these individuals. For those that are still out there in time to rescue whatever little you have, to do something for yourself, to value that is family, that are loved ones that are going to be with you and thin and thick. Do it. There's no brownie points going to prison. There is no pleasing these individuals. Chico was one of many other basuras in the organization. For example, as many know, you had Boxer that had those charges, that tried it once he locked it up on a celly. So there's no denying that he was a predator when it came in that sense, right? But then you have Topo from Florencia. You could look him up. Everything's as clear as water with what he is, you know. Then you had so many camaradas as well, or per se homies, or playing the part as homies, that had I read paperwork on them, like Travieso, Pato from Duarte, Isai Duarte, and Spanky. Man, so many that when you shot that, I'ma peel up, because he claimed to have a pass from the mesa of theirs, and it came back that Simon, you had to bite it. Basically, tell homeboy not to get nowhere near me. But he had that arm around him, because he was kicking down what they wanted, to where you couldn't do nothing. Believe me, I tried to politic against one, in the sense to cross him up in different directions, and no. He was covered. Money trumped anything. You, you could send up different violations on homeboy, and they got shut down. Without getting much into that, I will touch on that. But then you had other people that were scared, but they died in good standings, per se. You had Alfie, that it was really talked about up there in the Bay, that at one point he locked it up. He told the police his life was in danger and he had to bounce, and he got embraced, brought back. I was in Corcoran when Purdy Bob locked it up, told Popo, walked off the tier, went to that peseta section, block, whatever you want to call it, was there for a couple weeks, and he came back like nothing. I está. So, before you waste your life on the streets thinking you're gonna find something honorable in prison, you're not. Without minimizing those that are honorable in prison, because there is a lot. And that includes from both ends. But again, those are the ones that can't do or say nada. Because you guys gotta remember, first and foremost, us as Southsider, Sureño, Camarada, even though it's in our guidelines to ask, and we could ask, and as respect, we should be answered correctly. It don't work like that no more. They got full control when it comes to what we do, what we say, what we question, or our actions, period. As an active camarada, you're not going to be on a yard and do as you feel. At one point, a Sureño was allowed to defend his pride, period. And I was gonna say, I'm not. I was gonna put an example with a norteño, which I'm not. I'm not about that, that dumb division of sur and norte. When in reality, it was never about that. Never about that. Raza is raza. Period. You know, when anybody disrespected your pride, nobody could tell you couldn't buck up, lace up, grab your pedazo and boogie. That's what you were supposed to do as honorable. You can't do that no more. Because if you do it and you mess their program out, or if a holla is going to be coming in and you put a pause on that, man, that's your butt. That's how much you're worth. Tu orgullo. You know, take it from a dumb person that, I was blind for one reason or the next. And no, I don't have no excuse on why I didn't bolt before or why I didn't say nothing when I was there. You know, on the up and up, you could say, I was a coward and I just didn't have that sack in between my legs to go against an army. You could say that, you know, but you know, that's why I'm on here. For those that are there doing their thing, con todo y dado respeto, do your thing. Mis respetos. For me to sit here and say I don't believe in that sureño movement, I'll be lying to you because that's everything that I did it for. Always. I didn't grow up with having Emmett in our movement on an everyday basis. That just me, it was, sureño movement, period. But, I did everything I did because I did it. I'm not putting blame on nobody either. But, that's why I'm opening this little gap for those that are in time to stop and say, like, damn, I ain't gonna be that dumb, but, and I'm just gonna, maintain with my homies, be supportive to my neighborhood, but at the same time, look forward for a family, for something, you know, I have 28-year-old. Last time we seen each other, it was 5 months, and behind a glass. So, like I said, love those that love you, that deserve to be loved, to deserve for you to sacrifice something for. Smart up. But anyways, mi gente, I've been getting those shots since yesterday or yesterday night, I believe, and every 8 hours, so I could breathe normal. I could move a little bit better. So, but I'm still not 100%. I still need to stop being a hardhead and just allow medicine to work. I have to take those shots 3 days. So, as you guys know, I like to keep my word with you guys, and I was gonna go live tomorrow at 7, but tomorrow's the last day of the shot, so if you guys don't mind, and you can honor me Thursday to have a quick conversation at least as soon. And for those that have been sending me messages through Instagram, please forgive me. I just been, the strong medication, and they put me on my butt, like like a vaca lechera, de ladito tirado, just trying to see what's around. But God is beautiful, and hey, couple days with having problems breathing, but I don't deserve it, but I'm here. And for that, all I have to do is be grateful, Be grateful that I'm taking in air and I wake up every day. The rest should not even matter. Be given the gift to wake up every day, to do something positive for those that can still do it for their family, for yourself. Man, there's no better gift. Just treasure that. With this said, please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. I send my love. Muy buenas noches.